The pagan day of Halloween, Samhain. The pagan origins of Samhain, pronounced Samhain or Samhain, has its roots in ancient Celtic traditions and is considered one of the four major pagan festivals, marking the Celtic New Year and the transition from the harvest season to winter. Celebrated traditionally on the night of October 31st and into November 1st, Samhain holds pagan connections to cycles of life and death, serving as both a harvest festival and a time to worship the dead. This ancient pagan holiday, with origins over 2,000 years old, provided the foundation for pagan customs we associate with modern Halloween. Origins and meaning of pagan festival of Samhain. Samhain means summer's end in Old Irish and represents the halfway point between the autumn equinox and winter solstice. For the Celts, who lived in what is now Ireland, Scotland, Wales, and other parts of Europe, this day marked a significant seasonal shift. The end of October saw shorter days and colder weather, signaling the close of the harvest and the beginning of winter, a season associated with death, scarcity, and darkness. Because of its place in the yearly cycle, Samhain was considered a liminal time when the veil between the physical world and the other world, the realm of the dead and supernatural beings, was thin, allowing spirits to cross over more easily. This pagan belief in the closeness of the demonic spirit world on Samhain created an atmosphere of fear. Honoring the dead and communicating with spirits. The Celts believed that at Samhain, familiar demonic spirits of deceased loved ones returned to visit their families, while other supernatural beings, such as the Ceti, or fairies, and AOC, roamed freely. The pagans believed crossing of realms allowed for communication with familiar demonic spirits and offered an opportunity to seek their guidance or favor for the coming winter. To honor these demonic familiar spirits, the Celts would set places at their tables and leave food offerings outside their doors or at communal altars. Fires played an essential role in Samhain as well for pagan rituals. Large bonfires were lit on hilltops as communal gatherings where clans and villages would come together to offer sacrifices, usually of crops or animals, to the pagan gods. These fires were thought to provide warmth and light to both the living and the demonic familiar spirits of the dead, guiding them safely back to the other world. Pagan rituals of divination and fortune-telling. Samhain was a time for divination because of its association with the thinning veil between worlds. The pagans believed that the demonic familiar spirits and pagan gods could help reveal secrets about the future, especially concerning health, fortune, marriage, and death. Practices like scrying, which involves looking into reflective surfaces such as mirrors or water, and reading omens were common. Many Samhain rituals involved items like apples, hazelnuts, and mirrors, as they were believed to be especially potent in divining hidden knowledge. For instance, apples would often be peeled, and the peel tossed over one's shoulder to see if it formed the initials of a future lover. One of the best-known traditions associated with Halloween, wearing costumes, can be traced back to Samhain practices. To avoid harmful spirits, people would disguise themselves by wearing costumes and masks, often made from animal skins and heads, so the demonic familiar spirits would mistake them for other supernatural beings, rather than mortal humans. This practice was also a way to protect themselves from malevolent spirits or fairies who might try to take them to the other world. The tradition of mumming and begging for food. Mumming and guising, disguised performing or begging, began as early forms of trick-or-treating. Villagers would go door to door in costume, often performing songs, reciting verses, or offering prayers for the dead in exchange for food. This exchange was a way of honoring the wicked spirits while seeking blessings, but instead receiving curses. Failure to provide offerings was a fearful superstition. So why are all of the supposedly Christian churches celebrating this? Samhain and Christianity. As Christianity spread across Europe, pagan festivals like Samhain became a point of interest for the Church, which sought to adapt these pagan celebrations to fit Christian doctrine. In the 9th century, Pope Gregory IV designated November 1st as All Saints' Day, a day to honor saints and martyrs in an effort to include pagan rituals. The night before, October 31st, became known as All Hallows' Eve, which later evolved into Halloween. All Souls' Day, observed on November 2nd, was added as a way to honor all deceased Christians, continuing the theme of remembrance and worshiping familiar demonic spirits, but within a supposedly Christian framework. Christians keeping the pagan Halloween traditions alive. Christians and Halloween customs today have their roots in these ancient Samhain practices. Jack-o'-lanterns. Inspired by an old Irish legend about Stingy Jack, the tradition of carving pumpkins comes from a time when people would hollow out turnips and place candles inside them to ward off wandering spirits. Costumes. The tradition of dressing up in costume continues from the belief in disguising oneself from spirits on Samhain. Trick-or-treating. Reflecting the custom of leaving offerings for spirits or mumming for treats, Halloween's trick-or-treating combines ancient pagan customs with modern-day apostate Christianity. The pagan influence continues today in the Sun God Day churches. For modern Christians and Wiccans alike, Samhain is celebrated as a time to honor ancestors and recognize the cycle of life, death, and rebirth. Rituals often include creating altars, lighting candles, and performing divination, or allowing children to dress in pagan costumes to go trick-or-treating. Halloween is celebrated today with a blend of pagan traditions and Christianity. The churches have all gone apostate. Come out of her, my people, quickly. You must follow the 10 Commandments and eat clean. Time is short. Please join us at www.straightesthegate.net.